my friends. Today's video is a gentle invitation. It's not a prescription, it's not a judgment, it's just a space to reflect. So take away what resonates with you, and if it doesn't, perhaps it's just not the right time. Either way, I honor your journey. With that said, let's dive into today's video. Another episode of Navigating Wellness. Now in today's video, I'd like to start off by sharing that I too, for a very long time, was consuming ghee religiously on a daily basis, thinking that this golden elixir that has such a deep and strong presence in Ayurvedic health is an essential component for our health and vitality. I never listened to those subtle messages for my body, from poor skin issues to poor digestion, always overriding them, thinking that it just must be normal detox symptoms, but it can never be the ghee. Because why is it that something that has such a strong presence in our tradition ever be at the root of all these poor health outcomes? And how can it be that something that our grandparents and perhaps even our ancestors were consuming and was responsible for their long and strong healthy lives be at the root of these poor health outcomes? But here's the thing, times have changed. The energy, the consciousness behind the foods that we consume has shifted. Ghee in its purest, most sacred form was once the product of love, of care, of reverence for the cow and alignment to nature. In Hinduism, the cow is honored as a sacred embodiment of Mother Earth. She is Gau Mata, a giver of life, of nourishment, and traditionally the cow was treated like family and the calf was always fed first. Only excess milk was taken with care, love, and reciprocity. But today's dairy industry is a far cry from that ideal. Cows are often forcibly impregnated again and again. They separated from their calves right at birth, probably never to see them again. And the dairy industry takes the first rights to the milk. Cows that were once treated as sacred beings, as representatives of Mother Nature itself, are now reduced to mere economic units. These cows are pumped with things like hormones, with antibiotics, and are confined to really unnatural living environments. This changes the very vibration of the food that we consume. The ghee that was once considered this sacred food substance of healing properties is now laced with trauma and suffering. How can it have that very same healing properties when it has undergone so much of change since the time of Vedic literature? I used to think maybe the dairy products and the ghee that was coming from India might be different, given that it has such deep-rooted Hindu traditions that respects and values the cow. However, I was deeply disturbed. Unfortunately, there as well, profits are prioritized over the well-being of cows. And it's not that much different from the Western world either. Now, of course, there are a few farms out there that really honor these ancient Vedic practices, that ensure that the cow is nurtured and that the milk is shared respectfully, and the calf is given first priority to the milk. However, these farms are probably few and very, very hard to come by because they often operate on a subsistence level and are nowhere near the commercial scale. So coming across this type of dairy products is probably very remote for most people in this day and age. Now, practices like Godan, where cows are nurtured and fed and treated respectfully, are really sacred and beautiful. But we have to ask, are we truly honoring the cow if we simultaneously fund industries that are exploiting her? Is this not a spiritual contradiction? Now, I'm not saying stop your practice, I'm saying expand it. Let your reverence for the sacred cow ripple into your daily practice by making wise choices, especially those that are involving your wallet. Now, I'm not perfect. There are probably aspects of my life that are still unknowingly contributing towards harm. But I believe this is a journey about becoming more conscious step by step. And food, what we consume every day, is probably a really good place to start. Because behind the packaging that is really beautiful and branding that is so alluring, often lies deep pain and exploitation that we never really see. And I understand that there are some cultures out there that live in harmony with the animals, often still consuming meat and dairy. But the issue is not these traditional practices. The issue is mass industrialization, where profits have replaced compassion and disconnection has replaced gratitude. Thoughts, our actions, and the foods that we consume are intimately connected. And as we awaken to the truth and start to make more conscious choices, we raise our vibration, and in doing so, we raise the vibration of the collective. And this is how we break free from the illusion, the so-called matrix, and come closer to the truth, to compassion, and to anchoring in the presence of God. This message spoke to something within you, even if it's just a whisper. Then hit that subscribe button and let's walk this path together, one mindful step at a time. This channel is a space for deeper reflection, for more conscious living, and to awaken to who we truly are, behind all that noise. So until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and stay well, my friends.